Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live stream. So this week we're going to be looking at how to change between picking, single note picking, and strumming. So a lot of times we learn single note lines and melodies, and then other times we learn how to strum chords. And now we're going to learn out how to put them together because there's a lot of times in songs where you want to use both together, interspersed with each other. So that's what we'll look at today. And just a reminder, if you're on the live chat, feel free to ask any questions that you have, anything that we're going over that you want to go more in depth with, or anything other than what we're going over that you might want to take a look at. We can also try and work that in too. And then if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put your questions that you have. Same kind of questions, you can put those just in the comment section if you're watching the replay. So let's go ahead and take a look. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at a song that has some strumming and picking both together. So we're going to look at a little bit of an old kind of 50s doo-wop type song, oldie song from the 50s called Ain't Too Proud to Beg. And we're going to look at just one part of it from the verse. Um, so a little bit of the intro part before it comes into the verse. So we're going to look at this part here. So we're just going to look at that part so far. So it's got this little intro, and we'll kind of show you how to play it and everything. But we're just going to look at this part. So those kind of single note lines. And then we're going to look at some strumming with small single notes and small parts of the chord and then big parts of the chord. So basically, what we want to do is get used to, in order to be able to do this, we want to get used to thinking of picking as type of strumming almost. This is the way I kind of like thinking of it. Because if we think of it like we're picking and we're strumming, it can be hard to feel like the feel of transitioning between those two. But if we think of our picking as just small little strums, so we think of this as like small little strums. Strum up, strum down, strum up, strum down, strum up, strum down. And then when we get to big parts, we can think of it as like a big strum. So we can think of it just like small little strums and then big strums. Instead of like picking and strumming, think of it like small and big strums. That makes it easier to transition because they feel more similar. So, so let's try kind of a little exercise here. We're gonna do some strumming, but it's really picking, but we're gonna think of it like strumming. So I want you to pick down and up on the sixth string, down picks and up picks. But I want you to feel like you're strumming. So just feel kind of like if you were doing like a full strum, but it's just a small little strum on the sixth string. You just kind of feel like you're doing a small strum. And then try that on the fifth string. Just kind of feel like you're strumming the fifth string up and down. And try that on the fourth string. And then just kind of go down the strings. And try it on the third string. Try it on the second string. Try it on the first string. Okay, and then we're going to widen it a little bit. Now we're going to do two strings, sixth and fifth. So we still just feel like, really, we're picking these two strings, but kind of feel like you're strumming. And then try doing the sixth, fifth, and fourth. Now it's starting to feel a little bit more like actual strumming than not just picking. And then do the sixth, fifth, fourth, and third. And by the way, on the left hand, which I think you can see here, yeah, on the left hand, we're not doing any chords right now, just strumming on the right hand. And adding the second string. And adding the sixth string. That's a little exercise you can do. Just kind of switch between these small strums. Just kind of going back and forth between these big strums and small quote unquote strums. Like when you get into one and two strings, you're gonna just feel like they're strums. It literally just looks like we're just strumming big and small strums. actually being able to do those big and small strums, going back and forth between them, that's going to be really important. And then also just getting the feel that even when you're doing single strings, you still feel like it's kind of like strumming. So that's what's going to help when we put this all together. So now let's learn on the left hand this little intro part, or this, it's really kind of the last part of the intro before it goes right into the verse. And so on the left hand, it's going to go like this. So you're going to play the third string, and then third string open. So sorry, that's third string on the second fret, third string open, and then fourth string on the second fret, and then fifth string. So you got third string open, fourth string, fifth string. And you can see we're using our middle finger, it's open, middle finger, pointer finger. Now we'll just go back out a little bit here so we can see what the right hand's doing. So the picking on that part, so we can see the good picking pattern, is going to go down, up, down, up. So just basically alternate picking. Down, up, down, up. And go down on the third string, up on the, sorry, down on the third string, up on the third string, down on the fourth string, up on the fifth string. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing here. But now we're going to go in on the right hand again, so we can really focus on this sense of picking as strumming. Okay, so just when you're doing the down, feel like you're kind of strumming down. When you do the up, feel like you're kind of strumming up. Strumming down, strumming up, strumming down, strumming up. And same thing here. Strumming down, strumming up, strumming down, strumming up. It's like these tiny little strums. Now it doesn't really look much different than if you're just to think of it like picking, okay? Think of it like picking, think of it like strumming. It looks the same, but it's going to feel different, which is going to make it easier for you to play when you transition to the strumming. So go ahead and feel like you're kind of just doing these up and down strums, strumming down, strumming up, tiny little strums. Okay, and then the next part here, we're going to go. So we got some small and big strums all mixed together. Right, so on the left hand, all I'm doing is a C chord. So that's pretty straightforward. We'll just kind of take a look, but we're just doing a C chord on the left hand. Just a basic C chord, okay? So let's get back here on the right hand. So on the right hand is where all the interesting stuff is happening. So let's get here. So on the right hand, still on that C chord, you're gonna do a little small down strum, quote unquote strum, on the fifth string. So we just ended with this part. Now you're gonna do this C chord down on the fifth string. You're gonna strum the first three strings. Okay, so you're gonna go down on the fifth string, down on the first three strings. And then you're gonna go up on the third string. Okay, so let's do just that part. So down on the fifth, up on the first three, down on the third. So now you can see we're interspersing small little strum, small with one string. So this is really coming in handy now that we're thinking of it as all strums. When I feel like this is a strum, 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 we can get the flow and the rhythm and the feel better and the technique better when we're just kind of strumming the whole time instead of in our minds thinking like strum, thinking like, okay, I'm gonna pick, then strum, then pick, then strum. If you just think about all like little strum, little strum, little strum. Okay, so that's that first part. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to switch, right after we do that, we're going to switch to an F chord, but we don't really need the whole F chord for this part we're looking at. Oh, let's get back in here. Don't really need the whole F chord. So, which might make you happy, and depending on how you feel about F chords, sometimes F chords are people's worst enemy, which don't really need to think of it that way, but I can see why they do, because they're tricky. But luckily this time, we're going to do an easy F chord, because this is all we need is second, third, and fourth strings. Those are the only ones we need. So pointer on the second string on the first fret, middle finger, next fret over on the third string, ring finger, next fret over on the fourth string. And we're only going to be using those strings when we strum. So that's all we need there. Let's get back on our right hand. Okay, so we just ended on the C chord part. Here's the C chord part again. Okay, now switch to the F chord. So my left hand's on the F chord, and you're going to go. So we're going to strum the fourth, third, and second, and up strum the fourth, third, and second. So we're just doing down, up on the fourth, third, and second strings. Okay, so this is another strum, but it's another kind of small strum with 3 strings. And you can see here too, this is really important. When you're doing your strums, only do them as wide as you need them. It's really tempting to think that you might need it as, because maybe if you're, especially if you're kind of still a beginner, or maybe if you just haven't kind of learned or noticed, but when you start out strumming, usually we're doing full chords, so you're doing almost all the strings, maybe skipping one string, but usually doing all the strings. So we kind of tend to think of strumming as just all the strings, like that's what strumming means. But strumming could mean, like we're looking at, just a few strings, just these 3 strings. So, since we're only doing those 3 strings, you can see how my hand only needs to go this big to get those 3 strings. If I was strumming like a full G, just doing these 3 strings. So notice that too. However many strings you need to strum, only make your hand strum that wide. Only widen as you need it. So that's another aspect of this overall idea we look at in guitar all the time of keeping everything really efficient. It's trying to only use what you actually need to use and not doing any extra movement of any kind. That just makes your playing easier and better. So let's start from the beginning. So we got C chord on the left hand, you do 5th string, down on the first 3, up on the 3rd string, and then you switch to the F chord and you go down, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, up on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So if we put those together, okay, so the whole time feeling like you're strumming. Small strum, small strum, really small strum, small strum, small strum. So you're feeling like you're strumming the whole time. Okay, so we got that part. Okay, and then right after that, the last thing, we go back to a C chord. So it was an F chord. Now you're going to go back to a C chord. So left hand's on a C chord now. And so we just ended, let's see. Okay, so we just did down, up on the F chord, and then you do a miss as you go down, still holding the F chord. So down, up on the F chord, miss on the F chord, and then switch to the C chord, and you're going to strum all the strings of the C chord, which is the first 5 strings. So now we have a big strum. So on the F chord part, and we'll back up here a little bit so you can kind of see the left hand switching the chords. Sometimes that can be helpful. See what's going on there. So on the F chord, we had down, up. You switch to the, sorry, you go down, up, and then miss, and then switch to the C. And get all those 5 strings of the C chord. So down, up, miss on the F, up on the C, down, up, miss on the F, up on the C. Okay, so now we can put all those parts together. C chord, down on the 5th, down on the first 3, up on the 3rd, F chord, down, up, 2nd, 3rd, 4th strings, miss, and then C chord, up on all strings, all the strings of the chord, which is the first 5 strings. So just go ahead and try that out. You can see, if you're watching the hands, let's get close just on the right hand, so you can see how it looks on all these different parts when it's small strums and big strums. We got small, big, small, big, big. So that's what you're looking for. Your hand feeling like you're strumming the whole time, even on those small ones, and then that you're widening your strumming is bigger or smaller depending on how much you're strumming. Okay? All right, so now let's do that. We're going to switch over. Well, I'm going to switch over to acoustic guitar. You can stay on electric or on acoustic, whatever you're on. So let's do that real quick. Because this song's a little bit more, this next one I've got, it's more geared towards acoustic. But of course you can play it on either. Okay, so let's take a look at a little bit of a Johnny Cash song, I Walk the Line. So this is another good one that's got some really good alternate picking with bits of chords in it, bits of strumming. But it's mostly got small strumming in this one. So we'll just look at a little bit of it first. We'll just go to there for now. Okay, so you guys, you can see it's got the small strumming again, quote unquote strumming. It's picking, but we're thinking of it like strumming. So the chords we're going to use is this little bass line that I'll show you in just a minute, but then the chords is just going to be an A chord. Okay, and in this live stream we're not focusing on chords too much, so I'm going to assume with these basic chord shapes that you either know them or that you can check them out on other live streams. Okay, and then so A chord, and then the other chord we'll be using as a D chord. Okay, so then the bass line is going to be 6th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, all on the 6th string. 2nd. Okay, so that's that first part of this bass line. And then on the right hand, getting close here. So on the right hand, you're just going to do a up, down. Okay, so just an up, down, up. And you can see we're thinking of it like strumming. I'm feeling as if I'm kind of strumming up, down, up, as if that's my strumming. So you want to think of your strumming, think of it like you're strumming. And since it's only this one string on this bass run, we just got this little strum here. We don't need to go something real big like that, just something real small. So you think of it like you're strumming, and make it just small as you need it. Okay, and so then the next part, now you go to your A chord. So my left hand's on the A chord now. Just did that bass run, now we're in the A chord. Okay, so we're doing 5th string, 2nd and 3rd, 6th string, 2nd and 3rd. So these ones are all down, 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 down. And you're still thinking of it as they're strums. So like this is one string, but you're thinking of it like strum, like I'm strumming down the 5th string. That's how you want to feel it. Strum, strum, 2 strings, strum. Because when you're strumming it, or when you're feeling like you're strumming it, you kind of get this downward percussive movement and sound. Especially on this song, it's kind of got this driving feel, this kind of percussive feel. So that's the first part. So you have that bass run, up, down, A chord, 5th, 2nd and 3rd, 6th, 2nd and 3rd. And then there's another bass run, still. Okay, so now we're taking off the A chord. Now on this bass run, so we just do. So now this is all on the 5th string. So we'll just show you the right hand. The right hand verse is just going down, up, sorry, down, up. So just down, up, and you can see it's feeling like it's strumming again. I'm feeling like I'm doing these small little strums. And then on the left hand, all that we're doing here, we'll just back it out this way a little bit. All that we're doing on the left hand is just open, 2nd, 4th. That's on the 5th string still. On the 5th string. 2nd, open, 2nd, 4th. And you can see while we're doing that right hand is just going up, down. Sorry, down, up, down. So if we put all that together. picking like this, that kind of limits your range of motion and your ability to pick well, especially to do this kind of feel like you're strumming with this percussive kind of feel and sound. So yeah, make sure your fingers aren't resting on the pick guard. Make sure they're just kind of up here, just kind of curled in and ready. Really get that percussive sound. So let's put that all together, what we've done so far. Then we can just add this a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going back to the A chord again. So this is almost like the earlier point when we did the A chord. So now we're doing 5th string, 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th string. And you're going to go 5th down, 2nd, 3rd down, 4th down, 2nd, 3rd down. So all downs. Again, feeling like they're all strums. Right. Okay, so let's put that all together. Back and forth between single lines or single strings, single notes, and some bits of chord strumming, feeling like it's strumming the whole time. Okay, so then let's jump back on our electric pianos. Right, so let's get switched over to electric. Okay, and so let's do a little bit more on Ain't Too Proud to Beg. So what we got through was, sorry, we got that little part of the intro. And you can see the right hand, it feels like same kind of percussive down up strumming, quote unquote. And then we got, okay, so that's where we got to, where we ended kind of on that up strum on the C chord. So so after that, let's move this here a little bit. Okay, so after we get that up strum on the C chord, then you do it down, so you're doing a miss. So we got the, then we do a miss, and then you're gonna do down on the first 3, still on the C chord, and then up on the 3rd. So that's kind of like what happened earlier. Down on the first 3, and then up on the 3rd. So after we ended on the up, you're gonna go down, up, and then down on the first 3, up on the 3rd. Okay, so let's just put that all together. Then you're gonna switch to the F chord again, and on the F chord, you're just gonna do a down, up, down, up. And so you can see we're just doing that small strum. So let's put that all together. So on the C chord, 5th string, 1st 3 strings, up on the 3rd, then F chord, down, up, miss, and then up on the C chord, down, up, and then down the first 3, up on the 3rd, and then the F chord, down, up, down, up. Okay, we'll put that all together. Just see that wide and small and in between strumming widths. And so let's put it together a little bit more with the tempo so you can kind of see what it's like in the song. So it gets kind of more rhythmic once once you get the tempo up. But as always, you always practice it and learn it really, really slow first. Practice it slow. Then when you have it learned well, then you gradually increase the tempo with the metronome. And let's try it again also with that little end of the intro part. So we want that part too. And then when it's a little bit more at tempo, okay? And so, and in the song, that just repeats a little bit. So that's basically that main part of it. So the main thing that I want you to kind of remember from this live stream is just feeling like your picks are strums, feeling like you're kind of having that sense of strumming the whole time. Strum, 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 strum. And this gets you this, like if you just watch, focus on my right hand just for a minute here. You see how this looked like I was strumming the whole time? Like the rhythm of the right hand just kind of felt like strumming the whole time, kind of rhythmic. If I did it feeling like I was picking and strumming and picking and strumming, it might be something like this. It might be more like it's a little bit less flowy, a little bit. It feels harder to play actually. It feels more kind of jerky between like pick, strum, pick, strum. But when you think of it all like strumming, even when you get in just that like that single third string, right there, that third string, I'm still feeling like I'm strumming it, even though technically it's like I'm picking it. I guess you could say because it's one string. But I feel like I'm doing just a small up strum on that third string. And so that having that feel of strumming really just gets you the overall flow to go back and forth on these songs that use that technique. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today. Go ahead and like the video if you thought it was helpful, if this live stream was helpful for you. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And this, as I said at the beginning, make sure you put any questions that you have or things you want to look at in the comment section because I can use those ideas for the future live stream workshops because these workshops are for you guys so I can see what you want to work on and then work on it with you guys to help you guys get better at playing guitar. Okay, so have fun practicing. We'll see you guys next time.